Welcome to Reinventing Broadcast, where AI meets content. Hosted by Ben Anchor. Let's dive in.
We're at the Media Production and Technology Show in Olympia London. I'm joined here by Vinay Gupta, my old industry colleague. Do you want to introduce yourself, Vinay?
Hello, hi. Nice to meet you all. I'm Vinay. As Ben said, I'm an old colleague, worked on a number of broadcast projects with him, and been in the industry for around 10 years now, done different projects for different clients. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so we've been involved in product launches, and now more recently, me and Vinay have been talking about what broadcasters are actually building in AI. Are they building anything from the ground up, or simply buying products off the shelf, or piggybacking on the back of the frontier models, for example? So, like, Vinay, what's your opinion? What's the state of the nation for that sort of stuff?
I think I would say, like, we are still at a very sort of like early adoption stage. The way I see it, broadcast industry in general had been like this, we observe, we watch carefully, and then we see, okay, if it makes sense to us now to start like heavily investing into this stuff. Yeah. And from that perspective, when I see AI, there is still like a bit of a cautious approach towards it. Yeah. Now, there is a general sort of like awareness. People know, okay, what it is, how to use it and all. Yeah. But when it comes to experimenting and adopting it, it's more coming in from an angle, okay, we have these all product suites. Yeah. How we can probably leverage AI by the virtue of keep using these product suites and by that enhancing their own workflows and making them more efficient with AI usage. Yeah. Now, that's the way it will happen, and it's happening. There is a different layer to this where I see the direction it will take, if you ask me what will happen in the next 2-3 years, where I feel like, okay, I see more and more IP getting developed in this space, where broadcasters like sitting on a lot of data, and the ones who have data are equally, and the data could be from different angles, the customer data, viewer data, whatever, start building more intelligence and the IP in the AI space. So that's the word I'm effectively saying, that when people will be looking into building their own custom models and all, and saying that, okay, this is the in-house intelligence, which then drive the decision-making and future product decisions, or even future product development. Yeah. So that's the phase which is to come. So I would give it another few years. Yeah. But it's very exciting. I don't see any reason why it will not happen. I think it's a very similar way how the cloud adoption worked in the initial years, and then after that, when the enterprise jumped on it, it just shoot it off. So the same way it will happen. Yeah, and I think I've had a few people on my podcast before, and we were trying to like talk about things that are not in an LLM wrapper, basically. Sort of piggybacking off the frontier models. And I mean, we've seen today stuff around the content, right? And that's the very obvious thing. But yeah, I think people are going to need a good few years, like the cloud adoption, to actually like go in it like wholeheartedly and actually, with both feet, and to actually build up the trust, right? Yes, no, you are 100% right there, and I think it'll take a few years, and by that time the tech would be better tested as well. So there will be more data around the AI as well. That what kind of algorithms perform the best, or what kind of models are more sustainable, or even to the fact that what hardware is cheapest to run. These AI models deployed onto that. Which then comes and affects a lot of commercial decisioning. Yeah. So all of that will happen in the next few years. And I think the big differentiator at that time would be the companies who have their data strategy in place and very clear understanding of how their data is classified and what is allowed, not allowed to be used for AI. Yeah. And then by that time, there will be much more ammunition to get all of this together, turn into more profitable IP. So you're right there. Right now, the start is like most of the companies are leveraging the publicly available models and building AI capability on the back of that. But I think that's just the way it will grow. Yeah. And I'm always curious, and I always ask people on the podcast, what have you seen particular like use cases for AI that have caught your eye and like are pretty interesting? It doesn't have to be broadcast specific, but anything that's
you've seen recently that's worth mentioning?
I think, wherever the data is used to make decisions, let that be sort of like very intelligent scheduling, or let that be designing the targeted advertising systems. I think wherever the data is a precursor to these decision making, even now, being done manually or being done in an automated way, I think those all will become very interesting use cases. And then there is a degree of manual work which happens, which then obviously affects the time to market in a way for a lot of products at the moment. I think that will change. So AI bringing in automation, but be very clear that the automation being with a pinch of human element there, but being very intelligent automation, not something a dumbed down workflow, but something which can almost mimic human intelligence in decision making. So I see all of that becoming very exciting and very interesting area, and that'll drive a bit of a convergence as well. The way head-end works.
Yeah, and we saw it earlier. I think I've seen 2 or 3 instances today where the AI has been applied to metadata, to the content, to the schedules, but actually, and to monitoring actually as well. I saw another manufacturer, but they were all exactly the same mindset. They need to have the human in the loop, right? The human to make those decisions, right?
Yes, no, you're right, Dan. And I think I am a technologist, so my take on that is that's always the way. That just shows that's the right way. I had a bit of a caution there, the way we approach AI. And having the humans in the loop there is the part of the process. But I think there will be a time in future, and not very far future, where we would start realizing that, AI independently can also, and specifically when it comes to AI agents, can independently, with the guardrails being provided, make these decisions more smartly than us. And there will be a phase then we will have to start thinking, what is the human element looks like. So it will still be there, but that's still far, I would say, especially for our industry, because we do take a lot of pride in what we build, and we are a creative industry. So that element will come eventually, but I think to start with, that I like that. There's a human element in it.
Especially now in the sort of infancy of the AI movement, right?
Exactly.
You need to build the trust and confidence, don't you?
Yes, 100%.
All right, Vinay, thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, cheers. Thanks for having me on your podcast, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Met Shelly a few months ago on a webinar about AI, and I knew she was going to be at the show today. So, Shelly, why did you come to the show today? Was you looking for something in particular?
Yeah, well, with a background in media and moving, fast-paced into tech, I wanted to come and be amongst my people, really, and all the technology within media, specifically to look at creator, content making, and AI, and how AI is being used in the media industry, where, who's way ahead and who's just grappling with it, and how we can implement it into what we're doing.
Because I was here last year, and I saw some of the Adobe stuff. So Adobe have I think it's called Firefly, their sort of AI within Adobe. And I'm not a particularly creative person, but what they were doing within that AI, it boosted the productivity so much. So you can get, your day's work done in a few hours rather than taking the whole day. And you just come from, I think, the Creators Hub. Was there anything there that took your interest?
That's with the Creators Hub. So I dabble in growth marketing for a podcast. And so I wanted to understand what's going on in the creator world and what can be done better and what confidence is required to really explore that side. So that's what I've been doing over there.
Well, you mentioned you went to the podcast. Was it a stand or a talk?
Yeah, so the podcast stand, how to create a podcast that wins viewers or that people will listen to, I think it's called. And It was so interesting. There was a creator there who really explored what it required, how often he needs to really be in touch with his viewers, and the consistency that's required. And I feel like I learned quite a lot from that in terms of maybe some companies are making really shiny podcasts and moving towards the sort of the broadcast side of things. But one of the good things about podcasting was its grittiness and the raw, the mic failures. And so I think viewers or listeners don't necessarily need it to be shiny. They just want something to the story, something
storytelling,
to be engaged.
right?
Yeah, something to be engaged with, something that makes them want to say, let me listen to that podcast again and again and again, and turn up again and again.
And was there anything in the production pipeline that they talked about? Anything that they use, like modern creative tech, like the studio tech or the AI perhaps in that pipeline?
Funnily enough, they really shunned the technology side of it and really went back to
to basics.
How raw it needs to be. And I think if we were to think about AI, maybe in the editing, they're getting some help there. And potentially the scripting. Would be useful there as well. I know I currently use AI for helping me to create the growth marketing content that I'm using for once the podcast has been recorded. And that's a new area for me. So
because actually AI, I was speaking to someone earlier, like AI is in the content. People are doing a lot of AI with the actual content. But then there's other areas that people overlook, like the metadata, like the scheduling, even marketing and operations. It's not the obvious choice, but that they're the areas that can really help people, right? And boost their creativity.
I definitely use it for the marketing. And even to design maybe a social media card or something that goes with the content that I'm using to promote the podcast. So I'm excited to see where this takes us. Lots of people are very scared, but I think it's worth being excited about. I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the ass.
Well, I mean, it takes visionaries, and it takes, if you remember the cloud adoption days, like sort of 10 years ago, it took a good few years for people to trust it and to actually take the leap. And I think that's where we're at now. People are sort of feeling around the edges. Can we trust this AI? Is it going to be? Is it? Can we embed this stuff and actually have confidence in it? I think that in a few years' time, it will be a whole different landscape.
Years ago, people were scared. We were thinking, "Oh, the internet is bad." And look, where are we now? We're not saying that anymore. And something else I picked up on one of the talks the AI talks I went to. One of the key things is that everyone, absolutely everyone, is going to have to be able to prompt. That's going to be, where you used to have a skill, people to say they're good at Excel or Word or something like that. Now they just expect you to know the suites, the Microsoft suite. You are now going to be expected to be able to prompt. So we'll leave it there. AI is coming. Don't be scared of it.
AI is coming. Watch out. But you're in safe hands. Okay. Thanks for joining us, Shelly. Enjoy the rest of the show. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Reinventing Broadcast. Subscribe for more on AI content and the future of media. And visit Ancast.tv for more info on Ben himself, the resources, other content, and news.